Yeah, I mean, with that, can you describe to our audience a little bit more about what your pace clock is, how you came up with the idea, and go into that in more detail?
Yeah, sure. So I was coaching at Old Dominion, and it was end of the year, so if you don't use your budget, you lose your budget. So it's time to go spend it all. And I bought these really expensive pace clocks. They were like $1,200. I bought this remote control that you're allowed to program. You were able to program sets into the clock. That was another $500. And then when I got it, there was this big manual. It literally looked like it was from the 1980s. You had to hardwire plug it in, and I couldn't even do 10 100s on 130. I just is you literally needed like a little bit of a programming background to even program anything into the clocks. And that's when I was like, well, maybe we could just do a Kickstarter. And I never thought we could do hardware and software, but you can now. I mean, it's the internet. You can the global economy is a beautiful thing, and you can get anything done that you really want to set out to do.
And so as a swim coach, you had created a Swimnerd Twitter account. I believe it's the first thing to Swimnerd, right? Maybe you even had like a Swimnerd master swim team at that time. I'm trying to fill in the gaps here.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
And so you had this audience that was growing. Then you, as a coach, decide, hey, I think this is, I'm using an iPhone. Why can't I figure out how to do something else in the sport that I love? I don't want to spend $1,300 on this stupid analog clock. And so you start to put things two and two together. And then the Kickstarter, you raise what, $65,000 or something like that because you had this idea.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we had a couple ideas before the pace clock idea. We had a recruiting website that didn't really, the business model wasn't very good. We still have that up. It's still live. It's still really nice, and it's a free tool for people. We looked at making live meet results. So when a swim meet was going on, you could actually see it live on your phone. That didn't really pan out, even though now it's panning out now. And so, that's why we landed on the clock. And I had just been tweeting a lot under the name Swimnerd. That's kind of what Carol with us at ODU had always told me. I was this huge swim nerd. I'd always be in her office talking about swimming against whoever we were swimming against and what our lineup should be and who maybe we could stick in this event and who I thought maybe they were going to swim in these events and to try to win. I just poured a lot into the Twitter and then thought like, well, let's make something cool, that everyone could do. And being at ODU with those expensive clocks and knowing that they were so far behind innovation, that was like a clear cut. Look, if you can make a 3D movie on a MacBook Pro for $1,500, you should be able to make a clock count up or count down or do whatever you want for $1,500. So that was kind of the ethos behind the driving thought. And we did the Kickstarter. We had made like a prototype in this I found this guy on the internet somewhere in Rogersville, Alabama, and he made our first prototype, and it worked. And that prototype basically led us to the big Kickstarter success. And after that, it's just like, what's the next question? Find the answer. What's the next question? Find the answer, and just keep going down. Keep making the mistakes, and hopefully don't make them again. But yeah.
What time frame was your Kickstarter campaign?
We launched it specifically during the 2016 Olympics. So 4 years ago, almost to the day. Next week will be 4 years since we launched it.
And I would assume that was probably a pretty big platform, at least from an attention standpoint. Did you have plans to leverage the 2020 Olympics?
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Spot on. So everything was planned around the Olympics. We always plan around the Olympics because we just know we're going to get a zillion eyeballs. We easily break 1 million impressions on Twitter during the Olympics in just a couple of days. So that's a big thing. We took a big leap of faith and jumped into this big contract, this big advertising contract for the Olympics. And then the Olympics don't happen. and said coronavirus happens and you're paying all this money for something that's not doing anything for you right now. So it's been really tough. The coronavirus has been really nice on the business side, not in terms of the actual business and stuff, but to be able to sit back and reflect and look at what you did wrong. I think we were all kind of a little fat and happy the last 5 years with the economy just churning and everything just seeming like nothing bad could happen. So yeah, it has been good to sit back and make sure that you're reevaluating everything moving forward. What should we not try to attack?
How do you